Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Monday morning. We love our Monday mornings here on Panhandle Outdoors. Get the week started off right with all kind of good stuff, and we do have a good show lined up. We'll start with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at Baldwin Road and Highway 77. Run by and check out all the programs they have to offer there. Summer school will be starting right around the corner. High today is going to be 86 and low tonight 72. Not a big change right there. And the wind's going to be coming out of the south now at 8 miles per hour. The water temperature is still around 78 degrees. Really good shape. The water's warming up and it hit a plateau now. It'll stay this way for a little while. It's going to bounce back up. It'll be in the 80s before we know it. Okay, our moon phases, I don't have right now, but our moon is now waning. We had a full moon about a week and a half ago, so it's waning on out, and we got I'll show you the June full moon on our next Monday morning show. All right, let's do our tides brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Cemetery and Funeral Home there, right here on 23rd Street in Panama City. Some great folks over there, and their motto is when caring counts. Our tide today, our high tide is at 6:51 this morning. We are getting into it shortly. We'll be at a high tide, and it's going to start going out to 4:36 this afternoon. So we have that tide there. It's not going to be a big chunk of moving tide. It's going to be pretty slow. But for the weekend, looking on toward the weekend, we have really strong tides coming up for the weekend. Okay, that takes care of our weather. And like I say, a marine forecast now is that coming out of south at 8 miles an hour. So that's not quite as bad as it has been the last couple of days. All right, let's take our break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's get the week started off right. I'll get some good pictures here. Just got a little handful of them right now. Have a lot more next couple of days. Now, next couple of days, tomorrow I have Alan Courtney and then several more guests during the week, all kind of good stuff. But let's look at these pictures, really good pictures here. We're talking about wade fishing now. Oh, Howard Farrow. This is a good-looking redfish. He's in about a little bit, almost waist-deep water. Now, this is a different redfish. That's a different one there. You notice how Howard gets that sun protection on. Good fish there. And another one. Okay. It looks like it's fishing in the same spot, don't it? I noticed that same pine tree to the left. Also, the Jack Crevalle over there, way down a little bit deep, shallower water down toward the end down there. Nice job there, Howard. Okay. Now, check out the next picture. Michael Hatcher. This is a kayak full of fish. I got a couple of some blues and some specks. Those bluefish are a lot of fun to catch, and those specks are real good to eat. Okay. Now, Matt Thurlow sent me this. Matt Thurlow posted this. Folks, you know what this is. This is ladyfish, or what we call skipjack. Now, we throw these back. I throw them back real fast. Now, some people keep them. Obviously, Matt keeps them because he says it's good sushi. Okay, so I'll have to talk to Matt about what his famous recipe is for sushi. I've never eaten a ladyfish and don't really plan on eating them as long as we got whiting and snapper out there. But good job. That's a variety of fish we have here in the Panhandle. Okay, let me read this let's jump into hunting again. I read this lease last week. I'm going to read it one more time because I know people may be interested in hunting on a lease. If you don't have a lease for next year, good time to get on one. And this is sent to me by Eric Mount up there at Leisure Auto Sales up there in downtown Lynn Haven. I've known Eric a long time. I have the kids in class, and I've seen him over the years, and he's shown me some pictures of some nice bucks. It's east of Selma, Alabama. That is in the heart of the Alabama black belt hunting right there. It's 2,000 acres, and they have 30 food plots within that 2,000 acres. And only holding 10 members and a family. And the camper hookups and all is family oriented. It's 620 acres. They got it set off just for trophy hunt. But the other 1,300 acres, you can get 4 does per member and 3 bucks. Okay, and the price is $18.50. And Eric's phone number is 832-6911. 832-6911. Okay. People ask me, and someone asked me the other day, Winston or Coach Chester, whoever how in the world do you get up and do that show every morning? And I said, well, it's only 255 shows a year. Just think about it, do 365 shows a year. But hey, seriously, folks, it's a combination of things that is mainly boils down to the inspiration I get. First of all, I have great viewers like you, loyal, and we interact, and y'all email me, and I run into you in different places, and I know we have a lot of good viewers throughout the Panhandle. I can tell by the emails and interest, so I feel I want to do a good job for you. Next, the sponsors. I've had a group of sponsors been with me since day one, and they just, you know, I owe it to them to, you know, to bring an A game every morning, and they're spending their hard-earned money to help promote this show, and we're going to do the best we can. And they're good people. They're local businessmen, small businesses, and they depend on you, our viewers, and hopefully, and y'all do a good job of supporting them too. And then, you know, I feel also when the sponsors are loyal. By the way, we have some new sponsors coming on this month. And if you have anybody maybe want to sponsor this summer, I'll run by and talk to them and give them an opportunity and all. Also, you know, we all have a purpose in life, and I just feel like my purpose in life is working with, you know, with young people and promoting the outdoors and working, you know, on promoting this show and all. And I just feel like it's something that, you know, that God has me doing now, and I just feel really good and confident about it. And I know it helps people. I know it helps these young people because I get good feedback from them. I know it helps our community and the area we live in. I know it helps you to go out on weekends and take your family camping and do that. And we just want to promote all these good things. There's enough bad things going around, and it's tough on television. So, and the people say, well, how do you put a show together? Sometimes I can put the show together in 15 minutes. I have this little blue book. I keep this little book here on my console of my truck. Sometimes when I'm driving home, something could pop up in my head, and I write it down. And by the time I get home, I have a whole show put together. Other times, it'll take me 3 to 4 hours to come up with a whole show. I mean, it's according to what's going on. One thing that helps so much, though, is I've talked about it before. The area we live in Florida Panhandle, you can do so many things. We talk about it over and over again. That's one of our recurring themes. The location we live in, we can do a show like this. Another thing too. On the videos, they said, well, sometimes you just put a video in and walk away. When you do a video, folks, it'll take a fishing trip. You know, y'all know been on a fishing trip, a minimum 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 5 or 6 hours. And then when I get home, Gail does a tremendous job. I couldn't do this without Gail doing this editing and put the video together. It'll take her sometimes a couple of hours to get a good video put together, especially when I'm moving around like this with a camera and falling forward and trying to do that. I've gotten better, but she makes me look good on the camera. On the video, so I have that. So sometimes I'll have we'll have 8 hours in a little 20-minute video. So, but it's something we enjoy doing. And then I got Jeff Peck here behind the camera. Jeff here waiting on me every morning. He does just a tremendous job, and keeps me on cue and everything. And so it's just a combination, all this put together. And that's how Panhandle Outdoors comes out 255 times a year. And I enjoy doing it, and I appreciate some of y'all asking me how in the world I do it. Okay. Summer plans. Speaking of summer, like I said, I'm going to have some new sponsors coming on this summer. But I was looking at this the other day. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take our break, and I'll come back and set this up and show you something, okay? All right, welcome back. Don't forget now, this Saturday is freshwater license-free weekend, okay? Anywhere in freshwater fishing in Florida, you can go to it, okay? Now, let's go. One thing, I talked about summer coming on. I didn't get to finish with that section, but we've talked about several different things that needs to happen in summer as outdoors we need to be aware of. And I tried out this new technology now on my iPad. I'm just using my finger, so check this out, see if this works. One of the things you're going to need is sunglasses, okay? Now, I wrote this with my finger on this little program. I'm really excited about it. Y'all let me know how you like this. Make sure you got some really good sunglasses this summer and all, okay? Next thing, of course, is going to be your sunscreen. We talk about this all the time. You got to get your skin protected. The sun's getting really high right now, and a lot of it's going to be doing a lot of damage if you don't do something. Okay, a good hat. You got to have a good hat to protect your face. I got a big old wide brim hat. Y'all see them in videos. I believe in those. I wear my cap sometimes late in the afternoon or early in the morning. And then water. Okay, limit your soda. Take water as much as you can. Limit your soda. Folks, our American, we talk so much about health and all in America, but sugar, our sugar intake is just amazingly. In fact, I brought some to you. Let me show you one more one soda has, okay, first of all, the American Heart Association says we should have no more than 40 grams of sugar each day. 40 grams of sugar each day. Now, I talked to my students about this. Now, one soda has 52 grams, okay? Imagine if it's supersized like these big ones. This is a regular sized drink right here, regular sized soda, okay? Now, I brought something, I'm not trying to teach you health, but I teach this to my kids and all, just some basic things about nutrition and all. And this is one of these little small drinks. I've gone to drinking these every now and then because there's so much sugar. This has 25 grams of sugar. This is my little snack this morning. I'm going to have about 9:30 or either 2:30, whichever time. I want one snack a day. And now this has 25 grams. This has 13 grams. That's 38 grams. That's all the sugar that I'm supposed to take in a day. Isn't that amazing? So when I say cut down on sugar, we're going to have just a huge epidemic of this generation of kids coming up now of sugar diabetes and all because it's sugar intake. So anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that. I just want to be aware of drinking water as much as you can. It's the healthiest thing you can do. All right, now let's go set up for this video. This video, first of all, when you're fishing and all, you want to try to use natural bait. I made a list while I was driving, and Jeff just corrected me a while ago during the break. I shouldn't be riding while I'm driving, and he's right. So I do just stop at when I stop at a red light, I write it down, Jeff. So yesterday when I was at the red light, I wrote this down, some fish and their natural bait, okay? Flounder. If you want to catch a flounder with natural bait, you're going to bull minnows. They cannot resist a bull minnow. Okay, speckled trout. Float a bit of live shrimp right by a speckled trout, see what happens. Brim. We all grew up catching brim with crickets, okay? Catfish. I don't know about you, but we went to these ponds and lakes, and we went catfishing with those big old earthworms. They're big about that long, wrapping around the hook and all, big earthworms. Okay, what about redfish? You go out to the pass and you float a crab on the top of the water by a redfish, and that redfish is going to take it. And cobia, you throw an eel out there in front of a cobia, that's natural. And flathead catfish and tournament coming up pretty soon. Those guys going to be using brim as bait. So natural bait, that is the best way to catch fish. You come up all kind of artificials you want, but you put a tournament and the people catching live bait and fishing for it will win it 10 times out of 10. Now let's go to cobia. Cobia, that eel, there's a motion of that eel, okay? And most of those has a motion, a taste, a feel of it, and that's what makes it natural. But as all of y'all know, I love to pompano fish. Well, when I go pompano fishing, I'll always take shrimp with me, and I'll take fresh shrimp. I don't like frozen shrimp for pompano fishing. And we talk about peeling it and cutting little pieces off. You've seen me do it over and over again. My number one choice of bait is sand fleas. Now, what has happened? We had beef renourishment several years back, and that really wiped out the sand fleas. I wish someone could do a scientific study on it because I've talked to other people in Scotland and I've talked about it down his way on the west end of the beach. It happened down on Cape San Blas because years ago we'd just scoop up, you'll see in this video, scoop up 8 or 9 sand fleas at a time. And then we had that beef renourishment, and man, it put a hurting on them. But this past weekend, or weekend before last, we found the sand fleas again for the first time in years. And so I think they're making a comeback. I've heard good reports on the west end also. So I'm going to run this video again to show you how to catch sand fleas, and it's really fascinating. But that is the best natural bait now for pompano fishing. All right, Jeff, let's roll this video. Okay, we're on the beach today. We're going to show you how to catch sand fleas. And it's funny, the other day I talked about it in the studio, and the lady, Sue, in the control room thought sand fleas were these little things on a dog, but listen, they're great bait. So we're going to show you how to catch them. Remember, we're going to look for it. First of all, they all have antennas, and they come up out of the sand. They're hard to find, but remember, they're in clumps. They sort of in families, or colonies maybe. And we'll go down the beach and show you. Basically, the only equipment you're going to need is this little wire basket right here. Very simple. This came out of my wife's kitchen. We used to cook French fries in it. We don't eat French fries anymore, so we just use this just for sand fleas. So this is really only equipment. So we're going to sort of scoop them up under the sand. So come on. Okay, what I'm going to do, we look at when the waves are coming back in. You may not see it now. There's a little group of them sort of right down in there. They're coming up as the waves go back in. I'm going to run down there and point them out to you, and then before I try to get any. waves. See how many we got. I can see we did pretty good. We got a couple of little ones right here that got loose. We're gonna let these little ones go right there. Notice what they'll do. They go right back into the sand. What we do, we catch about 4 nice big ones right here. It'll be good bait. Let me take one out and show you what they look like. Okay. That's a sand flea right there. I'm gonna put them on the ground. I'm gonna show you how fast they are. Okay. Then they dig into the sand. They'll dig into the sand. You'll lose them if you're not careful. They have little antennas on them. They'll play possum on you too. See the antenna right there? We'll let this go in the sand. I'll watch you dig. You may have lost him. Right there. See the little antennas right there? That's sort of what you look for. That's how they actually how they eat. He's going deeper. He's going deeper, but he's still there. See him right there? Okay. Great sand flea. Right there. Good pompano bait. We're going to talk about some more in a minute. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. That's not a bad scoop right there. There's all the antennas coming up, and these are good, healthy ones this time of year. One thing I'd like to do, if I find a female with the eggs, I don't know if you can see the yellow part inside here. Okay, that's a female, and she's starting to have some eggs. I usually turn around and let these go back. I'm going to release this one back in the surf. We need to say this would be like having a big bass you catch him with some eggs in it. So we're going to let that one go. This is also how they dig. Don't get this protrusion. See how they dig so fast right here? We're going to let this mommy go. Okay, now once you catch a few, you want to be able to keep them healthy. And what you do now is put them in a small bucket of sand. If you can see these right here, have a little bit of wet sand. These are some I just caught on that last scoop. They're pretty lively. I just dump them in there. I got a couple little ones. I'll let them go. You can see how they'll dig up into the sand and they'll stay safe. And one thing you do not want to do, a lot of people make this mistake. You put water in here, they'll actually drown. They can't really stay in the water the whole night. So I can keep these today and fish with them and keep them overnight and fish with them tomorrow. And they'll stay healthy. The ones I don't use, I sort of let go. Well, Panhandle Outdoors on St. Joseph Peninsula, how to catch sand fleas. See you later. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. Those little critters move around pretty fast and all, but it's fun to catch them and all. And like I say, if you get one of those females, they got the yellow, that's the eggs inside of them. It's the same color as a red roe on a mullet. So just let those go and keep the population going. I feel good and confident they're making a little bit of a comeback now. It'll be a good success story as far as just leaving them alone and letting them come back. All right, let's take a look at our fishing game forecast for today. We're looking at, brought to us by Mark Coward at Edgewater Beach Realty at 832-6000. We're looking at our times from 1:30 to 3:30 this morning, and then this afternoon even 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We don't usually get an even number, but it's from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock this afternoon. Good way to start a Monday. Good way to start a week off. Go fishing. All right. Now we always talk about doing good things and all. We're talking about the other day I had Justin and Matt on. We talked about one thing we talked about was etiquette. Or another word for it, not as fancy, it's just called courtesy. Courtesy for outdoorsmen, and we don't get enough of that. A lot of my dad would just call it just good common sense. And I got an email here. I'm not going to read it. It's a long email, and the viewer wanted to remain anonymous, so I won't call that his name. But he was talking about the show when Matt and Justin on, and then he talked about in the last. He's had incidents 4 times in the last 3 weekends, and I looked at all 4 of them, and basically. What he's doing, he's out in his kayak and he was paddling along in an isolated area, and this flats boat came up, asked him how he was doing all, and then got in front of him and started working the same bank in front. That's just not good common sense. If somebody's out there, if they're working the bank down this way, then if you want to fish that bank, going behind them. Don't cut them off. That's called cutting off, and that's just a rude, and it's just aggravating when people do that. Another incident he mentioned here was fishing on the docks. He was up in the North Bay fishing some docks, and he'd had his kayak and anchored out, threw out a little anchor on the kayak, and was actually standing up casting into the dock. And this fishing guide came up to the same dock and got within casting distance of him and was casting in the same area. That's the same thing, if you remember, about a month ago, that's what happened to Brandon Davis and I when we were fishing a dock up there in North Bay. So if someone, one day I'm going to count all the docks in North Bay. I know there's got to be close to 100. And if somebody's fishing a dock, then pick out one of the other 99 to go to, and wait till they leave and come back and fish that dock if you still want to fish it. But don't go back up there and fish the same dock somebody's fishing. That's just, it gets to the point where it gets aggravating and downright rude. And also, you know, when I talk about this, I haven't seen this printed anywhere. I don't know if I'm the first one saying it, but that football field, the distance, length of a football field, I think that's just a good rule of thumb, a minimum. If somebody's fishing an area in a bay system now or a large lake, if they're fishing a system, stay a football field length away from them. That's a good way to judge it, whether or not I'm too close or not, at least 100 yards or so, preferably even further. And don't work the same direction they're working. If they're working one direction, get behind them. And that's just some good common sense strategies, okay? Now, we're going to start wrapping things up. Got a great week planned. Alan Courtney will be on freshwater fishing tomorrow, talking about all the bass. And like I said at the top of the show, we appreciate your viewership. I know I've talked to some of y'all. I know some of y'all, you know, actually say prayers for our show, and I appreciate that. I feel like this is something you know, God has us doing at this point in time in our lives, and I feel very confident about it. And I thank you so much for your support, and we appreciate our sponsors. And again, we're going to bring you the best we can on Panhandle Outdoors, and it's America's only daily outdoor TV show. And we appreciate your viewership. And today, now, you get out there and do something good for somebody. And God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.